Hello, welcome to WQLN PBS Homeroom. I'm Miss Debbie and I'm so glad to be back with you smart cookies today. I love learning and teaching with you, especially because you make it so fun. Well, today we're going to learn about transportation from a social studies perspective. Now for you kiddos, social studies is the community around you and some jobs that people or things have. We're going to talk about that through transportation. Can you say that with me? Transportation. That's a big word. Good job. Transportation is a big word, but it just means moving things from one place to another. For example, if you put something in your car and you drive it somewhere, you're moving something from one place to another. And when we talk about moving things like that, you can move people or you can move things. Like when we go to the grocery store and we put groceries in our car and then we drive it to our homes. We're transporting it from one place to another. Can you think of other ways that we can transport things from one place to another besides a car? Shout them right out. A lot of good answers. Let me tell you some of the things that I've thought about. So one of the things I thought was a bicycle. How many of you ride bicycles? Yeah, you can get from one place to another with a bicycle. What about a car? We talked about a car. Yeah. Even walking is a way you can transport yourself or even carry things from one place to another. I have this character to share with you. What about this? A motorcycle. That's a way of transporting people or things from one place to another. How about this? I wonder if anybody thought of this. You see? A helicopter. Helicopters can transport people or things from one place to another. All right. One other way Miss Debbie was thinking about was by train. Trains can carry people or freight from one place to another. Now, freight just means the goods that you're buying, the items that people want to move from one place to another. So I was thinking about trains. Have you ever seen a train? Yes. Have you ever ridden on a train? Probably not. Not a lot of us have ridden on trains. A long time ago, people used to ride on trains a lot, but we just don't use it as much as we used to. Trains are a neat way to transport people or freight, things, from one place to another. When trains go through cities, they go really slowly to be safe. But when they get out on the open track, they go really fast. So it can be a very quick way to get from one place to another. Do you know this famous train? I bet you do. Thomas the Train. Well, Thomas has a very important job of transporting things from one place to another. Well, Thomas goes really slowly through the towns to be safe. But one day he decides he doesn't want to go slowly anymore. And Thomas wants to go really fast, all through the town and all through the open tracks. I have a book to share with you about that. And we're going to see what happens when Thomas gets bored of driving really slowly and he decides to go really fast. Let's see what happens. Our story today is called Stop, Train, Stop. And this is based on the TV show, The Railway Series by the Reverend W. Awdry. Let's see what happens. Stop, train, stop. There's Thomas carrying some coal in this picture. Stop, train, stop. That's our title. It tells us about the story a little bit. Here's where we start reading. Every day, Thomas the Tank Engine chugged from the start of his line to the end of his line and back again. All aboard, called the little blue engine's conductor. Every day, Thomas and his coaches puffed along, not too fast and not too slow, and he stopped at every station. They stopped at Knapford, where a little boy waved. They stopped at Elsbridge, where a spotted cow mooed. They stopped at Hackenbeck, and people got on and people got off. One morning, the little blue engine said, "I am tired of making stops. I am going to go from the start of the line to the end of the line without stopping." Clackety-clack, clackety-clack, always went the train without looking back. The little blue engine whizzed right by Knapford. The little boy hardly had time to wave. See the boy's face? He looks kind of sad. He didn't get a chance to really see the train and wave. In the dining car, that's where people ate, inside the car, the passengers bounced up and down their seats. Stop, train, stop! Stop on the spot! Our hot food's cold and our cold food's hot. So they didn't like him going so fast either. But the train didn't stop. It whizzed right by Elsbridge, and the spotted cow hardly had time to moo. In the sleeping car, that's where passengers, if they're on a really long trip, passengers get to sleep and they spend the night. Well, in the sleeping car, passengers bounced up and down in their beds. Stop, train, stop! Don't go anymore! Our feet are on the ceiling and our heads are on the floor. That doesn't look like a fun ride. But the train didn't stop. It whizzed right by Hackenbeck. People could not get on. People could not get off. In the baggage car, where people put all of their suitcases and the belongings, trunks and bags and pets bounced all around. Splish! A fish splashed into a cat carrier. Oh, that can't be good. Meow! A cat tumbled into a bird cage. Oh no. Squawk! A bird flew into a suitcase. Stop, they called. Stop, train, stop. But the little blue engine and the long brown coaches didn't stop until screech. I wonder what made him stop. Do you remember? They reached the very last station. The train had gone all the way from the start of the line to the end of the line without stopping once. Thomas looks pretty okay. He doesn't look too bad. He's happy because he did what he wanted to do. But do you remember how everybody on the train felt, and the boy who didn't get a chance to wave very much? The passengers were not pleased. Their soup was cold, their ice cream was hot. Dresses were here and suits were there. Fish wagged their tails and cats flew everywhere. Not a very fun trip. Now look at Thomas's face. He realized what happened and he's feeling kind of sad. Thomas the tank engine didn't feel happy. He said, "I miss boys waving. I miss cows mooing. I miss people getting on and people getting off." So from then on, every day, the train traveled not too fast and not too slow. And we can see in his face that he's much happier. Go, train, go. Look who else is happy. The little boy who had time to wave to Thomas and all of the passenger cars he was carrying. I love that story. Thomas had an idea and he tried it, but he realized it didn't work. It didn't help the people around him, the people in his community. So he went back to doing it the way he started, and things worked out. Well, my friends, we know that Thomas had a very important job. He could carry people and he could carry freight. And if you remember, that freight are the things that the cars carry, the train cars carry. Well, there's other trains in the Thomas series that have important jobs too. Do you know any Thomas the Train characters? Yeah, wonderful. Well, I'm going to share some Thomas the Train characters that I have. I'm going to tell you a little bit about their jobs. So this is Percy. Yes, he's number 6 train. Percy's job is to deliver the mail. When Percy goes from town to town, his freight is mail, and he delivers it to mail stations, and then other mail stations drop it off, and he'll take it to the next mail station. Maybe some of Percy's mail might even end up in your mailboxes. Another train I have is Dash. Now Dash has a very important job. Dash carries logs. His freight is logs. And he carries logs from the lumber yard to different businesses or people who need these logs to make homes, to make different structures. So Dash has a very important job also. Number 2 car, Edward. Edward is kind of like Thomas, where he can carry people or he can carry freight. In this one, Edward has a freight car filled with coal. How about this car? Number 7. Number 7 is Toby. Toby is a freight car. That means that he doesn't have an engine like Thomas and Percy. He's a freight car and he has to have other engines pull him. So Toby carries freight back and forth to different places. You see a lot of freight cars when trains come through the town. Well, this engine is Diesel. Get a good look at Diesel. His job is to shunt the train cars or to move the train cars. So when these cars get loaded at a station, they go different places and then they'll put them to the side and unload them. Diesel's job is to move the trains where they need to go. So Diesel is another type of train with a very important job. The last train that Miss Debbie has to share with you is this train. Can you see her? Do you know her name? Belle. This is Belle, and Belle has a very important job. On the top of Belle's train, she has water cannons. What do you think a train might have water cannons for? To put out fires. Belle is very important. She can carry water in her train car and the cars behind her, and she can put out fires. So a very important job for a train. All this talk about jobs has me thinking about people in our community and what jobs they have. Miss Debbie is a teacher. My job is to teach kiddos, and I love teaching. I really love to see your faces, and I love to share new information with you, and I love the information that you get to share with me. On the board behind me, I have some other members of our community that maybe you might know. Let's take a look. This person over here, she has scissors, a comb, and some hairspray. She's a beautician, and her job is to cut hair. Do you go somewhere to get your hair cut? You might, or maybe someone at home cuts your hair. This person down here, boy, he's very important in our community. And it can be a boy or a girl. Any of these characters can be boys or girls in our community. This one happens to be a boy. He has a pig with him, and he has a big, big, big pitchfork. He's a farmer. Farmers have very important jobs in our community. Depending on what they raise, farmers help us with meat products, and they help us with milk products. They also deliver foods and hay for animals. They're very important in our community. This person right here is holding a cat and a dog. What is she? It's a big word. Veterinarian. Try saying it. Ready? Veterinarian. Yeah. And her job's to take care of animals. Yeah. There are veterinarians that take care of your house pets. And there's also veterinarians that come to farms and they take care of farm animals too. Farm animals need help just as our regular pets do. Veterinarians are very important to keep our loving pets and animals safe. How about take a look at this guy down here? He has a big tool, a big wrench, and he has some plumbing equipment and a screwdriver. He's a plumber. Plumbers are so important. They help fix our water and piping problems. If there's a leak under your sink and you can't fix it, you can call a plumber and they can fix it in a snap. How about this person? He's a mail carrier. Mail carriers can be boys or girls too, and they deliver the much important mail into our mailboxes. I think there was a train that was a mail carrier. Was it Percy? Yes. Percy delivers mail, much like this person delivers mail. I have some other members of the community to share with you. This person does what I do. She's a teacher. And I can see by the smile on her face, she loves teaching just like I do. She's teaching about the world right now. Oh, this next character, this next person in our community is a baker. This person would make cakes, cupcakes, maybe even special cookies or donuts. Do you know a baker in our community? Someone who bakes? That would be someone fun to know. This community member is a police officer. Do you know any police officers? Have you ever seen a police officer? Yes, Police officers are very important in our community. They try to make sure that we stay safe, and they watch over us and protect us. They risk their lives to make sure we are safe. This community member is a scientist. I see she has some tubes here. She has a pencil behind her ear because she writes a lot. Scientists write a lot and they do a lot of experiments. Do you know any scientists? Even you could be a scientist. You could be any of these community members that you want. Would you want to be a fireman? Do you know any firemen? Yeah. And I'm thinking we learned about a Thomas the Train character that was a fireman. Belle, she fights fires. Remember she had the water cannons up top? She fights fires just like this firefighter. Very important in our community. Some firefighters volunteer. That means they just help out when they can. And other people are firefighters every day for their jobs in our community. Here's another important character we know. They have a stethoscope that listens to your heart and your lungs. And he has a chart right here that they write important information down. This is a doctor or a nurse. Very important to keep us healthy and keep us strong. Do you think maybe you might want to be a doctor? Yeah. Oh, how about this girl? She's holding toothpaste and a little machine right here that puts in your mouth and she can see your teeth. Yeah, she's either a dentist or a dental hygienist, someone who works on your teeth. Another very important job, keeping our teeth clean so we are healthy. Well, kiddos, we've learned about a lot of community members in our community, in the area around us. Are there any of these jobs that you think you might like to do when you grow up? Yeah? Oh, I would love to be a member in your community. I know you'll be great at whatever you do. Before we go, I have a little activity for you around trains. I thought we could finish our time today with learning how to make some trains. Miss Debbie found some boxes around the house. And this one was a Kleenex box, and this is a little part of a cereal box. You can have an adult help you cut the box out. And then I got some construction paper and I'm just wrapping it kind of like a present. I'm folding that paper around and taping it together. I'm gonna fold this around like a present I would wrap. Tuck that in. I'm gonna use some tape to make sure it stays together. And then I am going to put my 2 train cars together. You could make as many train cars as you want. I wonder how long your train will be. Put one more piece of tape in here. So I have my box wrapped up and my train needs something at the bottom. Wheels, definitely needs wheels. Now I decided to just put some tape on here and I'm using water bottle caps and I'm going to just put the wheels right on. 1 wheel, 2, 3 wheels on my train car. Whoops, that one wheel looks a little high up there. Easy to fix, doesn't it? Once we have our wheels on, then what I thought I would like to do is attach 2 cars together. So here is my green train and here is my yellow train. And we can tape those cars together, or maybe an adult could even help you glue them together. So I'm going to use some tape. We'll see if my train cars will stay together. taping them all together. Now, Miss Debbie wanted to use her train as a real toy to play with. So I took an old phone cord that doesn't work anymore, and I bet we have lots of these at home. I love to reuse things that we have at home. So I took an old phone cord and I cut a hole in the front of this train and I just poked it through. So now I can fill my trains up with freight. Let's see what I can put in there. How about my Thomas cars? So my trains can carry my Thomas cars. They could even carry a stuffed animal inside. Anything you want, any kind of freight. And you can pull your train across to carry freight from one place to another. Kiddos, I am so glad you joined me today. You can learn how to do this activity on our Learning at Home page at WQLN.org. And there's lots of different activities on there. Before I go, I always want to remind you to keep reading, keep learning, and keep watching WQLN PBS, where learning is brought to life. Until I see you next time, my friends,